Survival horror games, on top of being challenging in a way that tests your ability to navigate typically maze-like terrain and your capacity to ration ammo and other supplies, are often intentionally designed to startle, unsettle, and scare you. For some people, the experience of being startled and scared reach a level of discomfort that actually outweigh their desire to play what are otherwise fantastic games, which is why many of these games sadly don't sell well despite their apparent quality. If you're one of those people and you want to overcome this discomfort and finally allow yourself to play and enjoy these kinds of games, I think I have just the solution for you. Footsies. As you may or may not know, any and all video games that have a death state for either the player or NPCs have what are called hitboxes and or hurtboxes. You hear these two terms used a lot in communities for fighting games and Soulsborne titles, but in actuality, they're everywhere. Some people who get to a high level of competitive play in a fighting game eventually stop seeing character sprites and start seeing something like this. Terms may differ depending on which community you ask, but for the sake of this video specifically, we're going to refer to green boxes and red boxes. Green boxes are you or the enemy, and red boxes are the attack that you or your enemy does. Very simple, okay? Okay, now let's move on. The point being, survival horror games, at least in this regard, are no different. So, let's look at some gameplay from The Evil Within 2 as a brief example of what I'm talking about. First, let's aggro a zombie real quick. Okay, now it's going to approach me, and... there. Do you see? Once the zombie reaches a certain distance between it and myself, it begins to wind up and attack. In this moment, don't worry about the atmosphere, or your rations, or how unsettling the music is, or how disturbing the zombie's voice is, or any of that. You and the zombie are both green boxes. You are the same. You are equal. The moment the zombie throws up its hands, those are red boxes, and you cannot let those red boxes touch your green box. How do you prevent this from happening? Footsies. Now, what are footsies, you might be asking? Well, it's a complicated concept that I'm borrowing from the FGC, and it's a branch of an even more complicated concept called the neutral game. But we only have 5 minutes, so I won't get into any of that. For the sake of this video, I'm defining footsies as the art of baiting and punishing an enemy NPC using only movement. Now, keep in mind, this isn't Dark Souls. In this game and in most survival horror games, you don't have access to a dodge roll, or a parry, or often any way of blocking attacks. But guess what? Just like in fighting games, you don't need invulnerability frames to move out the goddamn way. Pay close attention to the distance between you and the zombie before it starts to wind up for an attack. That distance is often the exact range of the zombie's attack. Once you've established that distance, get intentionally close enough to trigger the attack, and at the moment you see the wind-up, either back away or move to the side. During the zombie's recoil, knife that bitch. That's called a whiff punish, and that's called motherfucking footsies. As long as you keep this in mind, survival horror games will be a lot less scary. In a game like Resident Evil 2, where resource management is key, you may run out of bullets very quickly, you may run out of healing items, but you will never run out of footsies, because footsies are a skill that you possess at all times. Now, your mileage may vary. You may get hit or die a couple times because you misinterpreted the distance between your green box and the enemy red box, but with practice, you'll be making zombies look like the goofy brain-dead fucking idiots they actually are.